If you've been scrolling through endless spec sheets, watching video after video about ultrawide monitors, and still feel stuck wondering which screen actually lives up to the hype, you're not alone. I've been there trying to balance the promise of a 240Hz OLED panel with the reality of desk space, GPU power, and a price tag that makes you pause. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this review, I'm going to break down the ASUS ROG Strix 34-inch OLED curved monitor in a way that reflects what you'll actually experience once it's sitting on your desk. Let's start with the most immediate question: does this monitor deliver the immersive feel it advertises, or is the curvature just a gimmick? The 34-inch screen spans 3440x1440 pixels and curves gently enough that you're drawn into the action without feeling like you're looking at a fish tank. In practice, when I loaded a fast-paced shooter at 240 Hz, the curvature helped keep peripheral details in view without excessive head movement. The Dolby panel pushes colors beyond the usual LCD gamut. 99% of DCI-P3 is a real thing, not marketing fluff. Dark scenes in a horror game showed deep blacks, while bright explosions retained crisp highlights, thanks to the display HDR 400 rating. For someone who watches movies on the same screen, the Dolby Vision support means streaming services like Netflix actually use the full HDR range, and the built-in Dolby Atmos speakers, though modest at 5W2, provide a surprisingly roomy audio backdrop without needing external speakers. Now, the real-world side: you need a GPU that can actually feed a 3440x1440 signal at 240 Hz. That's roughly a 12 gigapixel per second data stream, so a mid-range RTX 3060 will hit the ceiling in demanding titles, while a 4070 or better can keep you comfortably in the 240 Hz sweet spot. If you're planning on using the monitor for competitive esports, the 0.03 milliseconds response time combined with FreeSync and GSYNC compatibility eliminates most tearing and ghosting, but you'll only see the full benefit if your system can sustain those frame rates. For content creators, the wide canvas is a genuine productivity boost. You can have a timeline, a preview window, and reference material all visible without a multi-monitor setup. I ran a color-graded video editing session and found the color accuracy of the OLED panel saved me a step of external calibration that I'd normally need with a traditional IPS screen. One of the less obvious advantages is the built-in smart Google TV platform running Android 14. Because it's a full-featured TV OS, you can stream Netflix, Disney+, or Twitch directly from the monitor without a separate streaming device. The Wi-Fi 6 module pairs with the pre-installed NVIDIA GeForce Now client, so if you have a modest PC or just a laptop, you can game in the cloud at low latency provided your internet connection can keep up. I tested a cloud-rendered session of a Battle Royale title, and the input lag stayed under 15 milliseconds, which is acceptable for most casual competitive play. That integration eliminates a few extra cables and makes the monitor feel like a central hub rather than just a display. Of course, there are trade-offs you need to weigh before hitting buy. The OLED technology, while delivering stunning contrast, carries a risk of static image burn-in if you leave UI elements like HUDs or chat windows in place for too long. ASUS includes a pixel shift feature that nudges the image subtly, but it's still something to consider if you're a MOBA player with permanent overlays. The monitor's HDR rating HDR 400 is decent but not the pinnacle you'd find on higher-priced HDR 600 or HDR 1000 panels, so the brightest highlights won't pop quite as dramatically as on a premium HDR TV. The built-in speakers are a nice convenience, yet at 5W each they won't replace a dedicated sound system for an immersive audio experience. You'll likely still want a headset for competitive gaming. Space is another practical concern. A 34-inch ultrawide with a 1,500mm curvature radius needs a desk at least 35 inches deep and a wall that can accommodate the width without the edges spilling over. I measured my own setup and had to rearrange a couple of peripherals to avoid the monitor's outer edges hitting my keyboard tray. If you live in a small apartment or share a workstation, this screen could feel overwhelming, and the price well over $1,500 means you're making a significant investment. That's why it's important to match the monitor to your use case. Who should definitely consider this machine? First, hardcore PC gamers who already own a high-end GPU and want the absolute smoothest, most colorful experience without juggling multiple screens. Second, streamers or content creators who benefit from a wide, color-accurate canvas and appreciate the integrated streaming OS, saving desk real estate. Third, anyone who wants a single device that can double as a media hub for movies and music.